Ever feel like you're in a battle you can't win? Let me tell you something. Your relationship isn't just competing with the guy next door. It's competing with a billion-dollar algorithm meticulously designed to show your partner men she can never have. You're not just fighting another person. You are fighting a war against pixels, against filters, and against a million direct messages she will probably never even tell you about. This is the reality of modern dating, a psychological war where the battlefield is a glowing screen. So how do we get here? Let's start with what I call the illusion of infinite choice. Think about apps like Tinder or even just scrolling through Instagram. It's like a never-ending buffet of potential partners. Every swipe, every scroll, it whispers the same dangerous lie. There's always someone better out there. This isn't a coincidence. We're living in an attention economy, and these platforms have engineered a system where a like can feel more addictive than real love. It's a quick, easy hit of dopamine, a small validation that keeps people coming back for more, even when they're in a committed relationship. This constant exposure to a seemingly endless stream of options creates a deep-seated dissatisfaction with reality. The person right in front of you with all their wonderful real-life imperfections starts to feel inadequate compared to the fantasy on the screen. It's a subtle poison that erodes the foundation of trust and commitment. Now let's talk about the filtered reality. Have you noticed how every other guy on Instagram seems to be a millionaire? Flying on private jets, driving exotic cars, and vacationing in Dubai? This isn't real life. It's a highlight reel carefully curated and often heavily filtered. The problem is, our brains don't always make that distinction. When your partner is constantly bombarded with these images, her perception of reality begins to warp. She starts to think this lifestyle is the norm, that every other man out there is living this fantasy life. Your hard work, your loyalty, your genuine affection, it all starts to look a little less shiny compared to the digital mirage. This creates an impossible standard to live up to. You're not just a person anymore. You're being compared to a fictional character, a composite of the most extravagant moments from thousands of other people's lives. It's a comparison you can never win, because it's not based in reality. This leads us to the next point: validation seeking. Why would someone in a loving relationship feel the need to post what are commonly called thirst traps? Pictures that are clearly designed to attract attention and validation from strangers. The answer is simple: the algorithm rewards it. The attention economy we talked about earlier thrives on this behavior. A provocative photo gets more likes, more comments, more DMs. It's a powerful feedback loop. She gets a rush of validation, feeling desired and seen not just by her partner, but by the world. But this public validation comes at a heavy cost to the private relationship. It introduces an element of disrespect and opens the door for insecurity and jealousy. When your partner is seeking approval from hundreds or thousands of strangers online, it undermines the special, exclusive validation that should come from you, her partner. It communicates that your attention isn't enough, that she needs more, and she's willing to solicit it from anyone with an internet connection. This creates the perfect storm for the FOMO factor, the fear of missing out. Because of the illusion of infinite choice and the constant validation from others, a nagging thought begins to creep in. What if there's a better option out there? What if I'm settling? This isn't necessarily a conscious thought. It's a psychological byproduct of the environment these platforms create. She's constantly looking over your shoulder, not at another person in the room, but at the endless possibilities scrolling by on her phone. This perpetual search for something better prevents her from ever being fully present and invested in the relationship she is in. It's like trying to enjoy a beautiful dinner while simultaneously scrolling through a menu of every other restaurant in the city. You can't fully appreciate what's in front of you because you're too busy wondering what you might be missing. And this is where the DM intrusion becomes a major problem. Every time she posts a photo, every time she gets a surge of likes, her direct messages fill up with what are often called orbiters. These are people, usually men, who hang around in the digital background, liking her stories, occasionally sending a fire emoji, just waiting for a sign of weakness in her current relationship. They are a constant, low-level presence, a persistent reminder that she has other options waiting in the wings. Even if she never responds, their presence alone is a form of intrusion into the sanctity of your relationship. This is the core of the problem. We are all, to some extent, comparing our real lives to their highlight reels. You see the messy, complicated, day-to-day reality of your relationship, the arguments, the financial stress, the mundane moments. Meanwhile, you both are seeing the curated, picture-perfect version of everyone else's lives. You see the anniversary trip to Paris, not the fight they had at the airport. You see the smiling baby picture, not the sleepless nights and strained patience. This constant, unfair comparison is toxic. It breeds resentment and makes your own perfectly normal, healthy relationship feel like a failure. It's a game rigged against you from the start, because you're comparing your behind-the-scenes footage to someone else's final, edited movie trailer. Beyond just relationships, this social media influence is having a broader, more destructive effect on culture and identity. The constant need for external validation, the emphasis on appearance over substance, the performance of a perfect life, it can erode genuine character. When your self-worth is tied to the number of likes you get, you start molding yourself into whatever gets the most engagement. Authenticity gets lost. The focus shifts from developing a rich inner life to crafting a marketable online persona. We're seeing a generation being trained to perform for an audience rather than to build meaningful, private lives. This isn't about blaming individuals. It's about recognizing the powerful, often negative influence these platforms have on our psychology and our values. So what's the solution? It starts with setting digital boundaries. You have to understand that a public life can kill a private relationship. A relationship needs privacy to thrive. It needs to be a safe space, free from the judgment and intrusion of thousands of strangers. This means having open and honest conversations with your partner about what is and isn't acceptable to share online. It means agreeing on boundaries for DMIS, for the type of content you post, and for how much time you both spend scrolling instead of connecting with each other. A healthy relationship cannot have one foot in the real world and one foot in a digital fantasy land. It has to be grounded in reality, together. Ultimately, the goal is to unplug, at least partially, and to find a partner who isn't a slave to the screen. How do you find such a person? Look for them in the real world. Look for someone whose hobbies don't involve a camera and an audience. Look for someone who finds joy in conversation, not in comments. Look for someone who is more interested in building a life with you than building a following online. These people exist. They're at the library, on a hiking trail, in a volunteer group, in a coffee shop with a book instead of a phone. The key is to disengage from the digital war zone yourself. Value your own privacy. Build your own life of substance. The more you disconnect from the noise, the easier it becomes to connect with someone real. Stop fighting the war against pixels and start building a peace in the real world. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that challenges the way we think about modern life and relationships. See you in the next one.